Hello everyone, Hidris here. Welcome to today's video, video 4 in our Maven Space Challenge. And of course, we've come this far checking the description for the challenge, as well as loading our data into Power BI, performing some transformation. We've written a couple of DAX, and of course, we've had some visuals as well. So we'll just continue and see how far we can go today. Now, this is where we stopped the last time. I'm just going to take off this one since it's the one we don't need. So we have these two visuals ready for us. So today I just want us to do a couple of things and then we can start formatting our visuals. So again, I'm still working based on the based on my entry, right? So it sounds like this is the only thing you can do. I'm just trying to replicate what I have in my entry. So one more thing to add here is, again, I'm going to be bringing this guy. So I will just copy it. Okay. So I'm just going to paste it here by the side. Oops. So let me just bring it down. So this is our missions count by year. Okay. Now, what I want to do is, because we are looking at 2021 and 2022 again, I thought it would be interesting to have a kind of a prediction, see if by the end of 2022, what should we expect? So this is like a prediction visualization that I want to do here. So it's still going to be the same line chart. All I need to do is to add the prediction. And how do you do that? Just click on the visual, and then you can come over to add further analysis. I think this is the second time we are coming here. So this time it's not the trend line. I actually need the forecast, right? So you won't find these on all visuals. For instance, if I come to this one and I go to that same thing, you can see I have different things here. So this menu is like a contextual menu. So it depends, what you have there is contextual. It depends on what visual you are working on. So here we have the forecast. So I'm just going to turn it on, and then you can see something like this. So let me drag it down to see more. So we have the points. That's fine. So I want to look at maybe the last 10 years, which is really good. So you can see what to expect in 2029, what to expect in 2032, and so on and so forth. And then we have this option, ignore the last. So what ignore the last does is that the last year here is 2022. So you can see now that it just started the forecasting from 20. Let me try to increase this. So maybe you can see it better. Yeah. Okay. So what we try to do here is start the format from 2023, right? And we just concluded, based on this analysis that we did here, that it will be biased to agree that 2021 already surpassed 2022 because they don't have the same number of months. So what I'm going to do here is to ignore last. So I'm going to ignore the last one, which is 1, such that it will assume that 2022 is not present in my data, and then it can include 2022 in my forecast, right? So, and then you can increase the confidence interval. These are like statistics term. You can read them up. So confidence interval, the higher the confidence interval, it's like you are increasing the boundary such that you have a bigger, you can see how big it is here. More values will definitely fall in that range. But if the smaller it becomes, you can see once I click on apply for 80, for instance, you can see this kind of trimmed lower, right? So I actually use confidence interval of 85 and then ignore the last and 10. So I'm just going to click on apply. So now you can see that your prediction actually started from 2022 now, right? Even though we have the 2022 data there and it's still there, but we can see that the prediction started from 2022, and now according to this, it is saying that upper bound is actually forecasting 153. That's what we're going to have for 2022 at the upper bound of 175 and lower bound of 31. So that's like the range, okay? So but the actual value is forecasting is 153, which I think it's really achievable considering the fact that as at the time, as at August, we already have 93 missions so far. So I think by the end of, I'll actually check, since I'm making this video in 2022, I will actually check how far we were able to go last year. So we have done a lot on year. Let's go to the company just to do a couple of things. So we're actually not looking at all the years, because for instance, this RVSN, I'm sure they were not really launching missions in the 20s. I'm sure of that, probably in the 90s and all of that, after USSR and the whole thing. So there are some, if you actually want to look at it by company or by country, you actually need to like especially country, because you know we had USSR, and now we know that that has changed, right? So you need to consider these in, but we are not doing that, so I'm not going to really talk much about this. So what I want to do now is to filter this. So our analysis is based on 2022 and 2021. So I just want to filter this to just 2021 and 2022. So I'm going to bring in my year to this point, and then I'm going to add basic filter, and then I can filter this to 2022 first. And then I can copy and paste this, and then I can change the filtering from 2022 to 2021. So just to see, so we can see in 2021, CASC actually launched the highest number of missions, 48. Then we have SpaceX, which is 35. And then in 2022, so far this year, we are already seeing, so far in 2022, according to this data, we're already seeing SpaceX launch the 3 and 24 for CACS, which is nice to see. Okay, now I think according to the template we are following, which is my analysis, we have everything that we need. So now we can like create a new page that will be the main report page. So for these guys, I'm just going to hide these guys so that when we publish, they won't be seen, because they are like workout page, if you could call it that name. So now we have the report page. Again, I'm going to like format this page to the size which we actually want, and the height I said 1.5, and then the width, of course, I said 1,200, I think. Okay, so I'm just going to reduce this. So let's start from the here. Let's just try to do some formatting, and then we can move them over. So for this one, we can actually like increase it, the width, so we can see that we actually have more x-axis appear or come out. So for this, I don't need the grid lines, so I'm just going to take it off very quickly, and then I don't need the axis name title as well as this one. So I'll come to x-axis, I'm going to take off the title, and then I will go to y-axis again. I'm going to take off the title. We still have the y grid line, so I think the grid lines for vertical has to be off as well. So we have this. So now I can add like data labels. So if I turn on the data labels, we can actually see what each of these one represent. And then since we have data labels, I can take off this y-axis entirely, so I have more space. So yeah, do I need the titles? I don't think so. So let me just take off the titles, because I'm going to like really describe what is going on there. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is to pinpoint these top two guys. So 2021 having the highest, and then 1971 having the second highest. So a couple of ways you could like really, I'm not so good with the graphics and all of these things. So what I did was to add an x-axis constant line. So if you don't know what that is, you're going to see what it does. So once I had the line, it's like comes with this option to edit. So I could call it 1970, for instance, and then I could have like a line where the value is, you could have a value manually inputted. For instance, if I have like 1971, you can see it came that way, or you could like add it using a formula, but I'm not going to show you that now anyway. So that's how you can manually add it, and you can edit it, the color, change the size, and all of this. So you could also add like the label. I mean, it depends on what you want to do. So, but let me just keep it very simple, and then I would add the second one, which is 2021. It's a bit static because we already know you know what we want to look at, and there is a reason why I added it anyways, because I wanted to show something in my description. So I'm going to add for 2021 as well. You can see, you can like improve the transparency and all of that. So I will just leave this like this. And then if you check the lines, I think the lines are a bit thick, so I'm going to like reduce this, go to lines, and then the width can be reduced. So I think it looks better now than what we have before. Let me just use 2. Okay, so you could apply this same thing to this one as well. So by now, I think in our Maven pizza, we saw how we could use the format visual or format painter to format visuals. So once I click that, you can see that several of the formatting that we did, several of the format that we did here has been applied here, right? So the next thing is to could do something similar as well for this, because here we could see that 23 is the like highest number of companies that we have in 2021 as well, right? And then it depends on, so it depends on what you want to do. But for me, what I did was I wanted to give some explanation, so that was why I kind of like highlighted those things out. So you necessarily don't have to do the same thing if you don't want to go that route. Okay, so all you could do, again, I changed the color of this just to make sure that it's different from this, because this is like missions and then this is like companies, right? So I changed the color of the lines to just change it. I'm not so good with color, I keep saying that, so let me just use this one for now. Okay, I just decided I won't be creating a replica, exact replica of the visuals, so let me just try to make this a bit different. So I can go to generals now and hide title, and instead of saying mission count by year, number of missions by year, you know, could have it like that and keep it at the center. If you want, you could give this a background color. You know, for many people, you probably notice that I like this style when I do like in my videos. So I would leave this like this. I don't know if it looks good, but let me just format this painter again and then add it here. So for this one, it's going to be not company count, so I'm just going to edit that as well. Company by year. So for this one, I don't know why there seems to be like a lot of gap. It's starting from 1950, which I don't think we want it to. So I can change the x-axis to the minimum should be 1960 maybe, or even 1957. That's exactly what we have in the year. So I think it looks better now than, you know, even this one as well. I think the gap here is too much, so I can change the x-axis to start from 1957. So yeah, so there will be less space there. Okay, so for this one, I will just bring this over here. Let me just bring it a bit down. Our canvas is looking a bit rough now, so I'll bring this here. This is our scatter plot, and then I can do almost similar format. Take off the grid lines, and then we can take off the, we are not taking off the x-axis title this time, so well, we could like make it better, right? So the text for the x-axis is companies or number of companies, and then for the y-axis as well, the title is number of missions, right? So you could change the title to something like scatter plot. I will look for a title for that later. So here we have the correlation coefficient as well. This can be like corrected, or this can be formatted. So we could like change the label. We could turn it off, which is like that correlation coefficient. We don't need it to be there. So we just know that this is the value, and we have these two here. Okay, so the next thing here is for this one, we could like format this. Again, we could change the title or even turn up the title for this, right? And then we could change this goal. Instead of goal, we could use previous year. Okay, this is the second one. This is the same period, so we could use same period last year, you know. So, and then for these, if we do the same thing, we could turn up the title here, and then we would have like the label will not be goal, it's going to be previous year, right? Because this one is just directly previous year. Okay, so yeah, and of course the same format as this one can be applied to this one. Okay, looks good. So I could like bring them here, and then this mission count by decade as well, we could like format it. So we have like the x-axis title should be off. We know we are looking at decade. We take off the grid lines, the horizontal grid lines. We could take off this missions count as well, which is like the y-axis title. Then we could add data labels. That gives us the number for each of them. The data labels could be like inside, the position would be inside end, and then we could take off this y-axis because it's no longer important, right? So we have the data labels. So of course the title can be improved, you know, but I would just leave it at the center for now. Mission counts by decade. So let me just leave this on number of missions by decade. Yeah, by decade. Okay, and then the next thing is to do that of company very quickly. And so this one, very simple thing as well. We'll take up the grid lines, then we'll take up the x-axis title, we'll take up the y-axis title as well. And then we can add data labels, then again make the data labels inside end, and now we can take off the x-axis completely. So now it looks a bit better, and then we can like make our title at the center, and then we could look at missions, number of missions by company, right? So this is in 2022, and then just copy that, just format painter here for this one as well, and this one will be for 2021. Okay, so with that we've come to the end of today's video, and of course in the next one, perhaps the final one, we will bring in all our visuals to the main page, and then we can add some final touches to it. So I hope to see you then. Take care of yourself, and bye bye.